Coming up, rate hike. Interest rates rise again in an effort to curb inflation. But what exactly are interest rates? We'll explain. Then Fact or Fiction, our pal Dr. John Torres breaks down a popular myth associated with chewing gum. Plus, welcome to the neighborhood. Say hello to Ji Young, one of the newest neighbors on Sesame Street. She's here with an important message for kids.
Our differences are what make us special on Sesame Street. That's why we're such a cool community, because no matter what you look like, where you're from, what your skin color is, or the shape of your eyes, if you got fur or feathers, we all belong here.
And she'll also answer some of your questions.
I'm Yuna from Queens, New York. What do you do if someone says your name wrong or teases you about your name?
And inspiring kids. This Chicago teenager is helping those in need both here at home and now abroad.
I think it's important for young people to give back so that they can see the issues in the world and so that we can fix them now.
His remarkable story just ahead.
This is NBC Nightly News Kids Edition.
Welcome back to Nightly News Kids Edition. I'm Lester Holt, back here in our studios at Rockefeller Center in New York. It's great to be with you guys. We've got a lot to share with you, including a new series we're launching here on Kids Edition called Class Chat. We'll check in with one class in Tennessee and find out some fun facts about their community and answer a question they have about a subject they're studying in school. Plus, we'll rock out with Ji Young, one of the newest neighbors on Sesame Street. And a little later on, we've got a special treat you can make Mom for Mother's Day. But let's begin with a story we've been covering during my evening program that really affects all of us, and that's inflation. You've heard the term before, those rising costs on things like food and even maybe some of the toys you want. Well, this week, the Federal Reserve, the central banking system of the United States, raised interest rates in the hopes it will help curb inflation or slow it down. So, some of you may be asking, what exactly are interest rates? Good question. Our good friend Stephanie Rule explains.
Hey Lester. Well, this week the Federal Reserve raised interest rates to try to slow down prices from rising as much as they have been lately. And if you're thinking, what's an interest rate? It's the amount you're charged to borrow money. So think of a piggy bank. Say you deposit money into it, and then your brother or sister want to borrow some of that money. Well, you tell them sure, but in return, I'm going to charge you a fee. That's what an interest rate is like. So when you borrow money, like when your parents get a mortgage to buy a house, or students get a loan to pay for college, they have to pay a fee for getting that money, and they'll keep paying that until the loan is paid back. An interest rate is a percentage of the total amount of money borrowed, and these interest rates can change from time to time. That's what the Federal Reserve did this week when they raised the interest rate. But it's not just fees for borrowing. Interest rates can also encourage you to save more too. Say you get paid $10 a week for doing chores, and your mom or dad tell you they'll give you an extra quarter each day if you save that money and don't spend it. That's called interest. So in this case, when you save, the bank, or in this case, your parents, pay you. In general, when interest rates rise, it costs more money to borrow. And if you save, you get more money. Back to you, Lester.
All right, Stephanie, thanks so much. Let's turn now to our ongoing series, Medical Myths. I know chewing gum can be a favorite among a lot of kids and adults, and there's one popular theory out there that people are chewing on about what happens if you swallow the gum. Our pal Dr. John Torres explains.
Most of us chew gum every now and again, and many of us have probably even swallowed gum once in a while. But has someone told you that gum would stay in your stomach for 7 years? Well, that's a big myth. Our stomachs are made to collect and help digest the food and beverages that we eat and drink. To do that, the stomach does a lot of things to make sure the food and even gum doesn't stick around. The stomach uses acids to start breaking food down so then it's easier to digest. Then once it's done with that, it moves the food along using a movement called peristalsis. This gets food from the top of the stomach to the bottom and then out into the intestine. And it does it with everything in the stomach, including any gum you might have accidentally or maybe even on purpose swallowed. So gum does not stay in your stomach, but if you do swallow too much gum, you could get a bellyache for a bit while the stomach moves it on its way. So it's best to spit it into the trash when you're done.
Dr. John Torres, thank you as always. Hey, we want to turn now to a special segment we had this week in honor of the start of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. AAPI Heritage Month is observed every May, and it's a way for us to celebrate the stories and contributions made by Americans of Asian and Pacific Islander descent. And guys, we've got a very special guest joining us here in the studio. Ji Young is a new friend on Sesame Street. Ji Young, it is so great to have you here. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me. This is really cool. Are we on TV?
It's a pretty cool place, and yes, we are on TV. One of the things I love when I visit Sesame Street is the fact that there's people from all over with these great backgrounds and stories. I understand you're Korean American.
Yeah, that's right. My family's from Korea, so that makes me Korean. But I'm also American too, so it's pretty cool because I'm like two things at once.
And you've made a lot of friends because you moved into Sesame Street several months ago. What's it been like?
Oh, it's really easy to make friends with people on Sesame Street because everyone's super friendly. But except for Oscar the Grouch, but I'm working on it. He's my friend, he just doesn't know it yet.
What do you like to share with people about your background?
Oh, I mean, it's really cool to share things that are special to your family, like food and holidays and language and stuff, because it makes a stronger community to share all those things that make us different.
So you learn from other kids and they learn from you.
Oh, yeah, it's the best way to be.
And for kids who are watching, I know it's been a tough couple of years with this pandemic and all the things we've had to go through.
Yeah.
How do you buck up your spirits when you're anxious?
What does anxious mean again?
Well, anxious means, you're a little afraid of what's going on, or maybe you don't quite understand it and it makes you nervous.
Yeah, I felt anxious before. That's a good word to remember. When you're having big feelings, the first thing I do is name that feeling and say it's okay to feel that feeling. And then it helps to figure out what you're going to do. Like if I'm anxious, I might take a deep belly breath, like,
yeah.
And that helps calm me down.
Yeah.
If I'm like angry, then maybe I'll play a really loud, angry song on my guitar, and that helps.
Well, that's what I was going to mention. You are a guitar player. You're in a band, right?
Oh, yeah. It's called the Best Friend Band. And it's with Elmo and Abacadabby and Tamir. And we rock out.
You do rock out. Your hair starts flying everywhere, and you're really way into it.
Yeah, drives my mom crazy. But I heard you slap a mean bass, Mr. Lester.
I do. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it right now, but I keep one handy.
Oh, man, can we jam out later?
If you ever need a bass player.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, totally. Oh, my gosh, I'm going to call Elmo tonight.
Great. I can't wait to jam with the band.
It's going to be great.
So enough about me. You want to take some questions from some of our viewers?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got some video ones they sent in. The first one comes from New Jersey.
Ooh.
Hi, Jiyoung. What language do you speak at home?
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
So I live with my family. My Harmony, that's my grandma, she speaks pretty much just Korean. And my mom and dad speak mostly Korean. And then me and my brother and sister, we speak like a combination of Korean and English. We say Konglish.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, our next question is one that I think a lot of kids may wonder about. Here it is.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Yuna from Queens, New York. What do you do if someone says your name wrong or teases you about your name?
Oh, does that ever happen?
I mean, yeah, it does. And not everybody's used to saying, like, Korean names, but I get it. When I first met my friend Rosita, it took me a long time to, well, not a long time, but it took me a few tries to get it right. But, honestly, like, I don't think I'll ever say it the way her abuela says it. She says, like, Rosita, and it sounds like a song. Yeah, it's so beautiful. But I try my best, and I think that's what matters most, because my name is special to me. I'm sure your name is special to you, right?
Yeah, Ji Young's a beautiful name, by the way.
Guess what?
What?
It has a meaning.
What does it mean?
Well, Chi and Young mean smart and strong, but Chi also means sesame.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah, it was like I was always meant to live here.
You were meant to be on Sesame Street. That's great.
Yeah.
Our next question, it comes from Jocelyn.
Hi, Jiyoung. My name is Jocelyn, and I'm from Michigan. I have a question. How do you feel when someone doesn't embrace your Korean American culture?
That's a really, really good question because we mentioned, a lot of different cultures on Sesame Street.
Yeah, there sure are. I mean, sometimes some people are just not used to what they're not used to. But the more you share things that make your family special, like your language and your food and your music and your holidays and traditions, the more other people want to share that too. And that's what we do at Sesame because there's a lot of families there, and oh my gosh, there are people from all over the place who celebrate things in different ways and speak different languages, but it makes our community stronger.
I'm so glad you said that. That's a really great answer to a really important question. So, Ji Young, it seems like it's really important to understand our differences.
Yeah, I mean, our differences are what make us special. It would be really boring if we're all the same, right?
Yeah, wouldn't it?
But like on Sesame Street, that's why we're such a cool community because no matter what you look like, where you're from, what your skin color is, or the shape of your eyes, if you got fur or feathers, we all belong here. And I think it makes us the best community ever.
Oh, you are such a great guest. We're so happy you came by. But before I let you go, we have a last question that comes from a viewer in Michigan.
Oh.
My name is Kyra. We live in Redford. My question is, what is your favorite sport?
I know you're a musician. Are you a sports fan too?
I am a musician first, Mr. Lester. But I love skateboarding. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I skateboard. And my mom signed me up for soccer because she says I got to run it out sometimes. But it turns out I really like it because you get to run and work together as a team.
Yeah, and you get to burn off a lot of energy.
Yeah, I got loads of that.
All right. And as we mentioned, you are a musician. What's it like being a rock star?
Me?
You're a rock star. That's what I hear.
Yeah, Mr. Lester. I mean, that's what I want to be when I grow up, but I like rocking out. Well, when I play rock and roll music, it makes me feel excited, and it's really fun. And I think my favorite part is playing with my friends and getting them all excited and amped up.
See, I can see you getting amped up just talking about it.
Just talking about it. Can we please, Jam, please?
Ji Young, thanks so much for coming by.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Mr. Lester. This was really nice talking to you.
It's a pleasure.
Bye.
All right, well, this week marks Cinco de Mayo. The celebration of Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May in Spanish, commemorates the Mexican Army's victory over French soldiers in a town called Puebla during the Franco-Mexican War. However, the French didn't announce their withdrawal from Mexico until 1866. A few weeks after the Battle of Puebla, people in California heard about it and started celebrating. Well, since then, folks have celebrated Cinco de Mayo every year with everything from parades to carnivals. Okay, right now we're going to turn to a new series we're calling Class Chat, where kids like you help us learn a little bit about their communities and get to ask an expert a question about a subject they're working on in school. Our first class is Mrs. HB's 5th grade class at Normal Park Museum Magnet School in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Mrs. HB's students love reading and feeding the fish in their class aquarium, and now they're going to help us learn a little bit about Chattanooga.
Hi, I'm Miss HB, and I'm a 5th grade teacher at Normal Park Museum Magnet School in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Did you know that Chattanooga is known as the Gig City?
Chattanooga was the first city to have the fastest internet. Chattanooga was the birthplace of the moon pie.
A coal miner asked the Chattanooga bakery for a snack as big as the moon.
Later, this moon pie was made in 1917.
Chattanooga is built on top of an old city. In the early 1900s, Chattanooga moved its streets and housing by 10 feet to avoid flooding.
Wow, that's really cool. And we know you guys are learning about natural disasters in school, so let's take a listen to your question.
Hi, Lester. Our class would like to know how tectonic plates cause earthquakes. Thank you!
Well, for that, we invited our friend Lucy Jones to answer your question about tectonic plates. Let's take a listen.
That's actually a really important question. Physically, the earthquake is a motion of one block of rock past another that produces shaking as one of its effects. Just like you snap your fingers, you're moving one finger past the other, and you produce energy in the form of a sound wave. Earthquakes happen when some part of the earth is moving past the other. The plates represent relatively big pieces of the earth that are moving past each other. So the plates move, the boundaries stick, and then as the friction builds up, eventually you overcome the friction and you slip. Just like snapping your fingers, you've got friction holding them together.
Lucy, thanks very much. Good information. And if you think your class would be a good candidate for our next class chat, teachers and parents, send us an email at nightlynewskids@nbcuni.com. We can't wait to hear from you. All right, let's turn now to our Inspiring Kids series with an update on a teenager from Chicago who is counting his blessings, helping those in need at home and now abroad. At 5 years old, Jaquil Jackson didn't fully understand the concept of homelessness, but he knew enough to realize there were people who needed help. Jaquil and his family started a charity, Project I Am, when he was 8. Jaquil came up with what he calls blessing bags to help homeless people.
So blessing bags, it's pretty simple. The items in the bags are blessings and they're in the bag. So I just, and I call them blessing bags. You're going to get one of each item. So except for the Tic Tacs, you're gonna get 3 of these. So with Project I Am, I build awareness of homelessness and provide temporary support to those in need with blessing bags that are full of toiletry items that can help them on a daily basis, like soap, tissue, lotion, conditioner, the daily essentials that we usually have that sometimes we can take for granted, sometimes that they don't have. I distribute the bags once or twice a month.
And now he's helping a new type of homeless population, people fleeing the war in Ukraine.
There's been a lot going on over there, so I really wanted to help them out during this time.
Last week, Jaquil teamed up with Team Rubicon and Discover and packed 5,000 blessing bags for Ukrainian refugees.
My heart's passion is in homelessness, but also when it comes to people that are losing their homes based on war, really, and something that serious, it breaks my heart just as much as homelessness. So that really carries on to this Ukrainian issue, and I really just wanted to help them out since they're going through something similar to my cause.
Jaquil believes he is helping make a difference for those in need both here and abroad as he works towards fulfilling a personal goal, packing and delivering 20,000 blessing bags this year.
I think it's important for young people to give back so that they can see the issues in the world and so that we can fix them now, and when we are adults that we can have a better future for our kids and our kids' kids, and just future generations.
Jaquil, terrific work. Keep it up, my friend. Finally, Mother's Day is this weekend, and if you're thinking of making something homemade for your mom, grandma, or loved one on Sunday, we've got a sweet treat for you. Here with more is Nick's Kid Recipe Tester for America's Test Kitchen Kids.
Hi, I'm Nick Bates, a kid recipe tester for America's Test Kitchen Kids, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a super simple recipe that will be perfect for Mother's Day. Today we're going to be making ricotta toast. So, in front of me here I have toast, raspberries, honey, and ricotta. Ricotta is a soft and creamy Italian cheese. It's pretty mild, so it goes really well with sweet and savory ingredients. So, to make it, I'm just going to take a butter knife and spread a good layer of ricotta onto the toast. Once that's done, you can add a couple fresh fruit on top. I'm adding raspberries because those are my favorite, but in front of me I have ones with strawberry and blueberry, and if you want, you can also make a version that's savory with cherry tomatoes, olive oil, basil, and sea salt. Alright, so once I've added my raspberries, I'm just going to add an extra little glaze of honey. Once you're done with that, you can take a bite. Honestly, I really like it because it's not too sweet, and you can do it really beautifully. So it can be a perfect special little breakfast treat for anyone on Mother's Day. All right, back to you, Lester.
All right, Nix, thanks very much, and wishing all the moms a very happy Mother's Day. Well, that's going to do it for us parents. Just a reminder, if your child has a question about any topic in the news, email a video to us at nightlynewskids@nbcuni.com. And you can also follow us on Instagram @nightlykids. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to take care of yourself and each other. So long.